Hello everyone, I'm Megan, a 30-year-old woman with a story that might just top the charts for wedding day disasters, and it's all thanks to my mother-in-law. But let me take a step back and fill you in on some details that set the stage for this saga. A few years back, I faced the heartbreak of losing my husband due to health complications. This left me to navigate the world as a widow and a single mom to our 4-year-old daughter, Sarah. It was an incredibly tough time, but thankfully, with the love and support of my family and friends, I found the strength to move forward. 3 years after this challenging period, life took a turn for the better when I met Raymond. Our paths crossed at a karaoke club where, on a night filled with music and laughter, we ended up singing a duet together, all thanks to some nudging from my friends. Raymond, with his charm and bravery, asked for my number, and that's how our story began. Navigating the dating scene as a single mom with a 4-year-old wasn't easy. Many guys would lose interest the moment they learned about Sarah, stating they weren't ready to be involved with someone who had a child. While I understood that not everyone is open to this, it was still disheartening. Then there was Raymond. One evening, as we were getting to know each other, I decided to open up about my past. I told him about my late husband and how his passing left me with a mix of sorrow and responsibility, not just for myself but for our daughter, Sarah. I wanted to be honest with Raymond from the start, knowing that having a child might be a deal breaker for some. Raymond's response was nothing short of wonderful. He assured me that knowing about Sarah didn't change how he felt about me. He was eager to continue seeing me, which filled me with hope. So, there we were, embarking on a new chapter together, with more dates and shared moments, proving that sometimes, amidst the trials of life, new beginnings are possible. Everything with Raymond felt like a dream unfolding before my eyes. When he expressed his desire to meet Sarah, my heart skipped a beat. It was a significant step, introducing someone new into the small, tightly knit world I shared with my daughter. I was cautious, not wanting to bring any confusion into Sarah's life, but the genuine connection growing between Raymond and me couldn't be ignored. It felt right, stirring a hopeful warmth within me that whispered of new beginnings and beautiful possibilities. I decided to invite Raymond over for dinner at my place, planning to prepare a simple yet heartfelt meal. Nothing too extravagant, just something that felt like home. As I was getting everything ready, Raymond arrived carrying an impressively large gift for Sarah. His thoughtful gesture took me by surprise in the best possible way. "Hey Raymond, what's that?" I asked, intrigued and touched by his kindness. "I thought I'd bring a little something for Sarah," he replied with a smile that warmed my heart. "You didn't have to do that. Let me call her," I said, eager to see Sarah's reaction. As Sarah came into the room, her eyes lit up with curiosity. "Sarah, this is Raymond, a friend of mine," I introduced them. "Hi, Raymond," Sarah greeted shyly. "Hi, Sarah. Do you like toys?" Raymond asked, his voice gentle and friendly. "I love Barbies. Is that a toy?" she responded, her interest piqued. "Why don't you open it and see for yourself?" Raymond suggested. The excitement in Sarah's eyes was palpable as she unwrapped the gift to discover a Barbie estate inside. "Oh my God, it's a Barbie estate! Look, Mama, I have a place for all my toys now. It's so huge," she exclaimed, her Megan contagious. "I'm glad you like it, Sarah. What do you say when someone gives you a present?" I nudged gently. "Thank you, Raymond," she beamed, her manners impeccable. "Why don't you show Raymond your Barbies, and you two can play with the Barbie estate while I finish up dinner?" I suggested. "Yay, we can finally play Barbie." "I'll get them," Sarah said, excitement bubbling over as she ran to fetch her toys. Dinner went wonderfully. Raymond's gentle demeanor with Sarah was heartwarming to witness. She was completely taken with him, and their budding friendship was a beautiful sight. That evening solidified my realization of how meaningful it could be for Sarah to have a positive male figure in her life, especially since she understood her dad was no longer with us, in the simplest terms I could provide. Things continued to go well, and soon, Raymond invited me to meet his parents, Charlotte and Paul, for the first time. I arranged for a babysitter for Sarah, filled with anticipation and a touch of nervousness about taking this next step in our relationship. Feeling like a teenager all over again, I was enveloped in a mix of excitement and nerves at the thought of meeting Raymond's parents for the first time. Despite having been through the in-law introduction in the past, the jittery feeling never seemed to fade. It was like stepping onto a stage, knowing the spotlight was all on you, scrutinizing every move. As we arrived, Raymond cheerfully introduced me. "Mom, Dad, this is Megan, the incredible woman I've been dating." "It's great to finally meet you." Raymond's quite the secret keeper about his dating life. "We never get to meet his girlfriends," his mom remarked, her tone a mix of curiosity and warmth. "It's wonderful to meet you both," I replied, trying to mask my nervousness with a smile. Then the questions began, a typical mom's interrogation to gauge if I was a good match for her son. "I promise I don't bite. Can I ask why your previous marriage ended? Was it a separation or?" she inquired, tiptoeing around the subject. "It wasn't like that. My husband passed away," I explained, feeling the weight of my past gently pressing down. "Oh, I'm relieved it wasn't a divorce. Those can get so messy," she sighed, a tad too quickly moving on to, "What do you do for a living?" "I'm a lawyer," I said, hoping my profession would stand as a testament to my independence. "Must be nice to have a good income," she prodded further, only for Raymond to gently chide her curiosity. As the conversation unfolded, it became clear Raymond hadn't briefed his parents about my full story, including Sarah, my daughter. This revelation seemed to unsettle his mom, who openly questioned my intentions with Raymond, suggesting I might be after financial security for myself and my daughter. The dinner conversation took a turn for the worse when she implied that Sarah would have been better off in an orphanage rather than being a burden to anyone else, hinting that my life complexities were too much for Raymond or any man to handle. Raymond, bless his heart, stood up for us. He declared his love for both Sarah and me, emphasizing that he was not concerned about the financial aspects of our relationship. He assured his mother that my past and my daughter were part of the package he willingly accepted and cherished. The tension at the dinner table was palpable, with his mother's harsh words hanging in the air. Despite the awkwardness, Raymond tried to smooth things over, suggesting we focus on the meal and the effort put into making the evening pleasant. The experience was a stark reminder of the complexities of blending families and the challenges that can arise when facing preconceived notions and biases. Yet, it also highlighted the strength of our bond and Raymond's unwavering support in the face of adversity. After the challenging dinner with Raymond's parents, I was on the verge of stepping away from it all. The harsh words from Charlotte, painting me as a gold digger and dismissing my daughter Sarah, were more than just unsettling. They were deeply hurtful. I found myself pondering whether it was worth enduring such negativity for the sake of love. So, I decided to take a step back, to protect my heart and to shield Sarah from any potential hurt. However, Raymond wasn't one to give up easily. Despite my attempts to distance myself, he kept reaching out, apologizing profusely for his mother's unwarranted comments. Surprisingly, I found myself missing him, and even Sarah was inquiring about him. It didn't take long for my resolve to soften. Reconnecting with Raymond, he reassured me that we didn't need to involve his parents in our lives, especially not his mother, if it meant peace for us. Welcoming Raymond into our lives was a decision that brought unexpected happiness. He seamlessly took on the role of a father figure for Sarah, filling in gaps I hadn't realized were so profound. From school runs to spending invaluable time together, he was everything a parent could be and more. And to me, he was a partner in every sense, supportive, loving, and endlessly romantic. A year after Raymond moved in, he planned a heartwarming proposal, asking me to be his partner for life. Amidst the mayhem of our engagement, Raymond had a conversation with his mother about our decision. Despite her initial reservations, he hoped to bridge the gap between his past and our shared future, suggesting another meeting for her to get to know Sarah better. I was hesitant, understandably wary of past hurts. But Raymond's optimism was infectious. He believed in the power of change and the potential for reconciliation. He argued that as sentimental as his mother was, she might regret missing out on being part of our lives. Proposing a meeting between her and Sarah, he was convinced that once his mother spent time with Sarah, her perspective would shift. Accepting this proposal wasn't easy, but Raymond reminded me of the importance of family ties and the possibility of growth and forgiveness. It was clear that he valued his parents' presence in his life and believed they shouldn't be pushed away because of past misunderstandings. With love and hope leading the way, we decided to give this new chapter a chance, believing in the transformative power of openness and understanding. Embracing the possibility of a fresh start, I decided to open my heart to forgiveness, hoping that Charlotte would extend the same courtesy to us. Thanks, love. I'm grateful for your understanding. I truly wish for everyone to live in harmony, Raymond expressed, his optimism shining through. Not long after, Raymond shared that his parents, Mark and Charlotte, were keen on visiting us to immerse themselves in our world and finally meet Sarah. Despite the apprehensions swirling within me, I agreed. After all, we were in the thick of wedding preparations, with just 5 months to go. Secretly, I harbored hopes of mending fences with Charlotte. After all, she was going to be my mother-in-law, and having Raymond's parents bless our wedding was deeply important to him. Given Raymond's unwavering support and love, welcoming them felt like a small gesture I could make in return. The day arrived with a mix of anticipation and resolve. I was determined to show them that Sarah and I were not just individuals, but a loving family deserving of acceptance and respect. Mom, Dad, welcome. This is our home, I greeted them, hoping for a smooth introduction. Charlotte looked around and remarked, "So, this house, your husband left it to you?" "It's decent. We bought this house together. We both contributed to making it our home," I explained, trying to keep the atmosphere light and welcoming. The moment to introduce Sarah arrived. "Sarah, come meet your new grandparents. This is Raymond's mom, Charlotte, and his dad, Paul." "Hi, I'm Sarah. I'm happy I'll have one more granny and papa now," Sarah said with innocent enthusiasm, only to be met with Charlotte's cold response. "Please don't call me that. I'm not your grandmother." Despite the initial tension, we moved to the dining table in hopes of a peaceful meal. Yet, Charlotte's criticisms didn't cease, especially about the meal I prepared, suggesting it wasn't up to her standards of a wife's cooking. As dinner progressed, Charlotte's harsh comments extended to Sarah, prompting me to send her to the kitchen under the guise of fetching some water. It was a strategic move to have a moment alone with Charlotte. "Charlotte, please, let's not treat my daughter with such disdain," I pleaded softly, aiming for a calm and respectful dialogue. My goal was clear: to bridge the gap between us, fostering an environment where understanding and kindness could flourish, not just for our upcoming wedding, but for the sake of a harmonious future together. In a moment of honesty and vulnerability, I addressed Charlotte directly, emphasizing the importance of mutual respect for the remainder of the evening. "You might not be fond of her, but please, either speak kindly or not at all. I've always aimed to provide the best for my daughter, surrounding her with positivity and love. Our last meeting was less than ideal, but today presents an opportunity for change. You can decide whether to be a part of our lives. I deeply love your son, and hold respect for you both as my future in-laws. All I ask is for a bit of respect in return." Charlotte's response hinted at her skepticism, questioning the longevity of our current harmony. Raymond stepped in, urging for a drama-free evening, to which Charlotte reluctantly agreed, choosing silence over further conflict. That silence, though not ideal, felt like a small step forward. Post-dinner, Raymond and I reflected on the evening. Despite the tension, there was a glimmer of hope that maybe, with time, Charlotte would come to accept us. We had to focus on the present, particularly with the wedding drawing near. Between finalizing the venue, compiling guest lists, and the myriad tasks that come with planning a wedding, our days were packed. Yet, amidst the whirlwind of preparation, we ensured Paul and Charlotte were included in our guest list, hoping to share our joyous occasion with them. The day before the wedding, Raymond stayed with his parents, honoring tradition, while I managed last-minute preparations. The plan for the wedding day was meticulous. A brief stay at the salon, followed by a return home to ready Sarah for the ceremony, with my parents also arriving in town to celebrate with us. It seemed like everything was in place, but life has a way of upending even the best-laid plans. The morning of the wedding, what was supposed to be a 4-hour salon visit, stretched into 6 due to the salon's lack of professionalism. In the whirlwind of wedding day chaos, the moment I learned that Sarah's babysitter had to leave unexpectedly, my heart raced with panic. Desperate for a solution, I reached out to Raymond, hoping he might be able to care for Sarah amidst his pre-wedding commitments. To my surprise, he suggested his mother, Charlotte, who, despite her cool demeanor towards Sarah, seemed like a viable option in our moment of need. Reluctantly, I agreed, trusting that no harm would come to Sarah under her supervision. Shortly after, Raymond confirmed Charlotte would step in, a relief amidst the salon delays that had thrown our schedule into disarray. However, as time ticked away, I realized I wouldn't make it home in time to dress Sarah and get her to the venue. In a pinch, I called Charlotte, hoping she could assist further by helping Sarah dress in the pink gown we had chosen together and bring her to the venue. "Charlotte, I'm sorry to ask for more help, but the salon's running late. Could you please help Sarah get dressed? There's a pink gown in her wardrobe," I pleaded over the phone, the stress of the day making every request feel like a burden. Charlotte, though not thrilled, agreed to help. My heart lightened a bit with the knowledge that Sarah would be taken care of and would soon join me, dressed for our special day. But the day's surprises were far from over. While I was caught up in the final touches of my wedding preparation, Raymond's best man arrived with urgent news. Raymond needed me immediately. Fearing the worst, I rushed to find Raymond comforting a tearful Sarah. The sight of my daughter in distress was a punch to the gut. Raymond explained the harrowing ordeal. He had gone to pick up Sarah, intending to simplify our plans and prevent Charlotte from needing to navigate a taxi to the venue. Upon arriving at our house to find it empty, and Charlotte unresponsive to calls, a panic set in. Through a video call with Sarah, who had been left with her tablet and the background noise of her distressed cries, Raymond discovered Sarah locked in the shed in our backyard. With quick thinking, Raymond rescued Sarah, bringing her to safety before breaking the alarming news to me. The revelation that Charlotte was responsible for such a frightful act left me reeling. How could she endanger Sarah, causing such distress on what was supposed to be a joyous day? Raymond's attempt to shield me from immediate panic was thoughtful, but the reality that Sarah could have been seriously hurt under Charlotte's watch was a hard truth we now had to face together, adding a complex layer of emotion to our wedding day. Regret washed over me as the realization hit. Calling Charlotte had been a mistake. "This is all my fault," I lamented, guilt twisting in my stomach. Raymond was quick to reassure me. "Don't blame yourself. It was my idea to involve my mom." "I'm sorry, Sarah." His voice was gentle, trying to smooth over the shock of the day. To bring some normalcy back, I suggested getting Sarah something to eat, considering the day's unsettling events. Yet Raymond and I were both preoccupied with the question of Charlotte's whereabouts and how we could proceed with our wedding after such an incident. Raymond, however, was adamant. "The wedding will go on. We can't let my mom's actions ruin our special day. We'll deal with her later." Despite the turmoil, Raymond's resolve was clear. We were going to celebrate our love, no matter what. Needing a moment to gather my thoughts, I left Sarah with my bridesmaids, ensuring she was comfortable and cared for. As I approached Raymond's room, I spotted Charlotte. With a heavy heart, I ducked inside, avoiding a confrontation. "Your mom is here," I informed Raymond quietly, suggesting he and Sarah have a moment together while I took a breather. But as we prepared to face what lay ahead, Raymond and I encountered a bewildering scenario. Charlotte claimed Sarah was elsewhere, oblivious to the drama that had unfolded. Raymond confronted his mother with the truth, leading to a chilling confession from Charlotte. Her actions, driven by disdain and misplaced fury, were laid bare. Locking Sarah in the shed had been a deliberate act of spite. Raymond's response was as immediate as it was decisive. Declaring that Charlotte had no place in our lives anymore, he banished her from the wedding and our lives for good. Despite her pleas, Raymond stood firm, his love for Sarah and our family overshadowing any familial obligation to his mother. With Charlotte's departure, the true celebration began. Our family and friends, including my parents, rallied around us, their support a balm to the day's earlier chaos. As Sarah found solace in the care of my mother, Raymond and I exchanged vows, our love triumphing over the day's adversities. Now, as we mark our first 2 months as a married couple and embrace the news of our growing family, our focus is solely on the love and protection of our unit. Charlotte's absence, while once unthinkable, now feels like a necessary step towards healing and happiness. Paul, too, has distanced himself, acknowledging the gravity of Charlotte's actions. This chapter of our lives, marked by both heartache and profound love, reaffirms our belief that sometimes stepping away from toxicity is the only way to nurture and protect the ones we love the most.